Hey there, and welcome to Secrets of the Ancients. If you're fascinated by lost worlds, ancient mysteries, and the thrill of discovery, you're in the right place. Make sure to follow us to catch this episode and all our future adventures into history's greatest secrets. Don't forget to support us by subscribing, liking, and dropping your thoughts in the comments below.
You know, every bit of support helps us bring you more stories from the field. So, don't be shy about hitting that subscribe button, eh?
Thanks so much for joining us today. Stay curious, keep exploring, and remember to follow Secrets of the Ancients for more journeys into the past. Subscribe, like, and comment. We can't wait to see you again soon.
2,000 years, two legendary lovers, a fallen empire, and a tomb swallowed by history.
Could the final resting place of Cleopatra and Mark Antony really be the best-kept secret of the ancient world? Or is it still out there, waiting to be discovered and finally rewrite everything we thought we knew? This is the story that has obsessed historians, archaeologists, and adventurers for centuries to find the tomb of Egypt's most famous queen and the Roman general who gave up everything for her. Cleopatra Philopator, the last female pharaoh, died in 30 BC shortly after her lover Mark Antony was defeated by Octavian, who would become Emperor Augustus.
Ancient sources agree. They were buried together in a magnificent tomb, a memorial to their tragic story of love and power. But over time, all that grandeur turned to dust. The empire crumbled into ruins, and the tomb's location vanished, leaving behind one of archaeology's greatest mysteries.
How could the burial place of such major historical figures just disappear without a trace? What really happened to the tomb that Plutarch claimed was famous for so long?
Logic said that if the tomb existed, it should be in Alexandria, the lively capital Cleopatra loved, where Mark Antony helped defend her. Alexandria was the center of Ptolemaic power, home to the royal court, and the scene of her dramatic death.
Archaeologists have explored the ruins of the ancient city both on land and underwater in the harbor, where parts of Cleopatra's Alexandria sank after earthquakes. They've looked under modern buildings and dug at promising sites, but the tomb has never turned up. It's like searching for a needle in a giant bird, a bird that's also partly underwater, with a modern city built on top of it. Hopes of finding the tomb right in the heart of Alexandria have faded in the face of harsh reality, destruction and redevelopment. The historical records mention the tomb, but the ground itself refuses to reveal it in the most obvious place. And that's where the mystery deepens. The official story starts to break down. If it isn't in Alexandria, then where could it be? The fact that it hasn't been found in the most expected spot is an anomaly in itself.
Was the tomb hidden? Was it deliberately destroyed by the Romans to erase their legacy? Or maybe we've simply been looking in the wrong place.
That's the central paradox. History tells us they were buried with honor, but archaeology in Alexandria can't prove it. This gap opened the door to other possibilities. New theories that challenge the old assumptions and invite us to look beyond the familiar boundaries. And what if Cleopatra, with her political savvy and deep knowledge of Egyptian culture, chose a final resting place with a far deeper meaning, a place that wasn't just a tomb, but also a symbol? This intriguing possibility points to Taposiris Magna, an ancient temple complex about 50 kilometers west of Alexandria.
For years I have supported the bold theory that Cleopatra and Mark Antony's tomb is actually here.
Why does this site matter?
Taposiris Magna was a sacred place dedicated to Osiris and his wife Isis. Cleopatra was strongly linked to the goddess Isis, and the love story of Osiris and Isis, with its themes of death, dismemberment, and resurrection through Isis, has uncanny parallels with Cleopatra and Antony's own tragic tale. I believe being buried in a temple dedicated to Osiris would have had profound symbolic meaning for Cleopatra. It would ensure her reunion with Antony in the afterlife and confirm her divine status through Isis.
This theory suggests the tomb wasn't just a burial site. It was a hidden theological and political statement right in plain sight, at a site that served a ritual purpose. It's a fascinating idea that shifts the entire search away from the political capital to a center of religious and symbolic power. Excavations at Taposiris Magna have uncovered real evidence supporting this theory. While the tomb itself hasn't survived, the finds have kept the theory alive and pushed it forward.
The most exciting discoveries so far include deep tunnels, burial shafts, and a large tomb holding high-status mummies from the Ptolemaic period. Coins bearing Cleopatra's image have been found, as well as a small alabaster head that might represent her.
These discoveries suggest Taposiris Magna wasn't just an isolated temple. It was connected to the elite and the Ptolemaic dynasty itself. Archaeologists also discovered a massive tunnel that some have called an engineering wonder. An ancient tunnel runs about 13 meters deep underground, and archaeologists believe it might have once led to burial chambers or an even larger hidden structure.
Every coin they've found, every column they've explored, every fragment of a statue uncovered at Taposiris Magna adds to a trail of clues left by the past, clues that seem to point to the possibility of something unusually important being buried there. Picture the scene: a determined archaeologist working at a remote site, uncovering layer after layer of history, not in the obvious political center everyone expected, but in a place with deep religious meaning. The columns descend into darkness, revealing rooms filled with sand and rubble. The tunnels branch out like underground veins, leading to places still unexplored. The search at Taposiris Magna isn't just about digging, it's about getting inside Cleopatra's mind, trying to understand why she might have chosen this spot. Even in death, she was playing her endgame, making sure her tomb would stay hidden, discoverable only by those who understood ancient Egyptian symbolism. The connection to the story of Osiris and Isis isn't trivial. For a queen who saw herself as a living goddess, being buried in a temple dedicated to Osiris would have been the ultimate confirmation of her divinity and her eternal union with her lover. This symbolic link adds an incredible layer of depth to the theory, turning the hunt for a tomb into an attempt to decode Cleopatra's final masterpiece.
After years of painstaking work exploring tunnels and shafts that seem almost beyond imagination, the Taposiris Magna team has made recent discoveries that have dramatically renewed hope.
Excavation of the massive underground tunnel revealed side passages and structures hinting at a purpose beyond just being a simple corridor. Sealed-off areas were also found, untouched for 2,000 years, as if, after decades of digging in the wrong places, the archaeologists' picks had finally tapped at a carefully guarded secret.
The sheer concentration of promising finds in this specific part of the Taposiris Magna complex, especially deep within the tunnel, has convinced many that if Cleopatra's tomb isn't in Alexandria itself, it could very well be here. What lies in the darkness at the end of that tunnel could shake everything we thought we knew about history. This is the critical moment in the search, the point where the Taposiris Magna theory stops being just a bold idea and starts to become the leading hope, backed by real, though still inconclusive, evidence. Never before has the chance of finding the tomb of Cleopatra and Mark Antony felt so close. The tomb of Cleopatra and Mark Antony is still the holy grail of Egyptian archaeology, a historical treasure that could reveal secrets about the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty, the rise of Roman power, and the life of one of history's most enigmatic women. The search at Taposiris Magna is a reminder that history doesn't always rest where we expect, and that its deepest truths are often buried under layers of sand, time, and symbolism. Will Taposiris Magna finally turn out to be the place where the Roman lion and the Nile serpent rest together forever? The world is still waiting to see. The sands of Egypt continue to keep their secrets, but maybe, just maybe, the key to unlocking one of the greatest of them is finally within reach. S1. Media. Archaeologists packing up tools at sunset, hands holding newly unearthed artifact over excavation pit. As the dust settles from the latest digs and archaeologists analyze each new fragment, the mystery remains, but the fog is starting to lift. Finally, at the end of the video, we just want to say thank you for listening and encourage you to follow Secrets of the Ancients. Watch our future videos, subscribe,